What is up? It's Andy coming to you on a Monday here, right in the middle, smack dab in the middle of the NHL season. Yeah, sure, we ate half of our sandwich already, but the good news is we have an entire half of the sandwich left. Starting this week, and then we even have the clenched ass-cheek playoffs. So we still have a lot of hockey in front of us, and I personally enjoy on a Monday when there are only like 3 or 4 games to go through, because I know you want more. I know you want a huge slate so we can really start going wild on a Monday. But for somebody like me, when you're sitting around Sunday giving out some sniffs on the Patreon, watching some football, I really kind of want to start the week slow and then get into the bigger slates that we have. Like, look at the Tuesday slate. Endless amount of games. You got to scroll for days to get to the last game. And sometimes this Monday slate informs some of the sniffs for the Tuesday slate and vice versa. When you see a team playing on this Monday who's also going to be playing on Tuesday, what do? You see who the team's playing on Monday and then who the team's playing on Tuesday. Which backup goalie is going to be playing in which game. You have a team like Florida who's going to be playing Philadelphia here on this Monday. Florida's been playing better. They pretty much shut down Arizona, Utah, whatever you want to call them, in their building, then came home, salvaged a point against Boston in the last minute. They pretty much outplayed Boston in that game. If they were just continuing the flow, I was going to dial up. I think I'm going to give you Florida. Only minus 160. I was going to have that ready, but I'm like, wait a minute, they play on Tuesday. Who are they playing on Tuesday? Oh, they're playing the Devils on Tuesday, who I believe they lost to twice this year. So you kind of think you're going to get Bobrovsky in that game. I don't want to say Florida's going to be looking ahead, but after the way you saw Philadelphia play, they just threw a beating to, albeit Anaheim, but they're obviously feeling good about themselves. They were at home. They remained at home. And obviously everybody circles the Stanley Cup champions coming into their building. So could this be a little mini trap game? This is the kind of thing where I feel like people, they bet on the Panthers in this game against the Flyers. They lose, and they're like, all right, okay, I'm betting against the Panthers next night against the Devils, who are playing great. And then what happens? Florida wins against the Devils. All these types of things can happen in the NHL. Since we have the extra time, let me just remind you some of the things that have happened in the last week. The New York Islanders, who were just losing game after game after game after game, they went into Las Vegas and shut out the Vegas Golden Knights. You had the Chicago Blackhawks beating the Colorado Avalanche in Chicago. These are all in the last couple of days. It happens, and it happens like it's no big deal. It happens so frequently that you have to be worried about. We saw the Vancouver Canucks get shut out by the Carolina Hurricanes. Okay, but Vancouver looked dreadful, and then their flight gets delayed. They have to leave Carolina late, and then what do? They go into Toronto and completely shut them out. So sometimes there's very little rhyme, very little reason. So with these 3 games, I'm going to start by looking at that Florida game. And my initial thing that I was going to give you was the Florida Panthers to win. And then everybody was going to complain about the minus 160. And what was I going to do to take that to a plus money bet, to give something to the plus money only people out there? I was going to take something that I still think is pretty solid to put on your card, and that's the under half of a point for PHI M.Michkov, because they have a top line in Philadelphia that was performing pretty admirably. And Michkov, he got booted from the top power play. So he's on a second or third line and on power play too. And I think this point prop price is a little more on reputation and earlier in-season production and potentially power play one time. But when you're looking at like a minus 140, minus 150, minus 160, I think the under half of a point for PHI M.Michkov is something to consider. But you want to know who I'm looking at on Philadelphia? I'm looking at that top line, who all came through with 2 points in the last game. And this is the semi-newly constructed top line of Tippett, Konecny, and Morgan Frost. I'm looking across at those 3 guys. Who's offering the best point prop price? Frost. That's Morgan Frost. Give me the over half of a point on Morgan Frost. We're probably going to be getting the backup treatment with Spencer Knight playing, because you got to figure Bobrovsky's going to be playing against the Devils. So I kind of like Philadelphia's chance to at least score a few goals here. You know, they're excited. The Eagles won. A lot of excitement around Philadelphia right now. Coming off that last win, that line playing pretty well. And, you can build confidence against a bad team like Anaheim and then carry it over and really continue to produce against a good team like Florida. And that's what I think might happen in this game. So give me that point prop for... And obviously, you can take the entire line for a point, and that's going to be pulling a pretty point prop parlay price. How's that for some alliteration? And these are the types of bets that allowed us, over the weekend, anybody who joined the Patreon, anybody who's on the Patreon, you guys know, it was one of the worst win-losses you can ever have. But because of a couple of carefully constructed parlays, we ended up just getting our head above water +2 for Saturday. And what did that allow for? Stevie Bong rips his boys in Detroit to just fuel our Sunday +14. So sometimes you get the right lines in the right spots, they'll make your night completely. They'll take all your bad picks and just Zamboni them, and all of a sudden you're smooth by the end of the night. And maybe that line can do it for us in Philadelphia. So give me that Frost point. And yeah, let's try that line for a point, albeit against a good defensive team who's not giving up a lot of chances, but I'll try it in Philly. And then let's go to Chicago. This is a weird one. Two bad teams playing each other. And as I've told you since the beginning of the season, bad versus bad has two drastically different outcomes. 2-1 final or like 6-4 final. Which one is it going to be? This one smells like one of the crusty lower scoring ones. This is the kind of game I feel like Calgary can play well in. When you're a bad team and you play another bad team, I feel like your slightly better disparity in talent can kind of come through for you. But more importantly, we have some snakeonomics lessons that can be taught about these Calgary Flames. One of the most annoying things about the Calgary Flames is their lack of consistency between who plays with who on what line and then what power play those guys are on. For example, you'll have Backman and Coleman on power play 2, but then they'll have Coronado on power play 1. You've had Huberdeau on power play 1, but Kadri on power play 2. Pospisil's not listed for a point pop price. They're a nightmare to deal with. But fortunately, mid-game, we had a switch last game. And this is why when I tell you, like Bobby De Niro said, you got to know your lines. You also got to know your power plays. We saw Calgary switch up the power play mid-game last game, and they scored on their very first power play. And that top unit happened to have Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau, who also play together on the top line. And this is a combo that now qualifies with the top power play, top line correlation. So give me both of those guys for a point. And like we do with Kane and DeBrincat, which once again yesterday, the point hit, the assist point hit, and I think the 2 points hit. Stevie, I want to thank you and your boys because not only did those hit, you remember, maybe you were cursing at me on Friday. Why'd you tell us to take Comfer and Tarasenko? Oh, I don't know, because they were like +4 something. And if you took them the very next game, aka yesterday, they came through for you on that +4 something. That's why you take them. That's why it makes it all work out. It's hard to pinpoint the exact games it's going to happen, but it happens enough to keep you consistently in the profits. So I want to go point for Kadri and Huberdeau, and then Huberdeau assist with Kadri point. You can do a half unit on each of those. That's what I like in that game. And now this last game, Kings, Oilers. This one's in Edmonton. Very tough to call. Winnipeg and Kings, that's easy for me to say. Two teams who like playing defense in a low-scoring, tight-checking game. That's exactly what happened. Edmonton has a weird X factor. What if McDavid is going off in this game? If McDavid decides to have a 4-point night, hard to kind of go with unders. And I just do got to say, it is so wild. When the hell somebody find a game last year that Edmonton had their total set to 5.5? The NHL has been an unders league so far this year. If you remember, we didn't see 5.5s until the playoffs last year. Maybe once in a while you get an outlier matchup, but it was always 6, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 6. There are so many 5.5s now, and it's wild to see the Edmonton Oilers included on that list. But what I will say is anytime You have the classic line combos on Edmonton. You have the Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, and McDavid, and then Draisaitl on line 2 with whoever they have him with. I've said this to you many times. If you can get McDavid and Hyman for like assist and a point in plus money, I really think that's a good bet. There was a small period where point was in plus money, which was pretty wild. But in this game, I know it should be lower scoring, but I don't think Connor McDavid stays pointless in back-to-back games. Give me the assist for McDavid, the point for Zach Hyman. That's a plus 110 bet. That's a tough game. I think Edmonton wins, but that price is awful. The Kings can beat good teams. We saw them win a low-scoring game in Winnipeg. And then I thought, okay, Winnipeg, Winnipeg shut out Colorado the very next game, so it's not like they beat some diminished bad Winnipeg team. The Kings are capable of beating really good teams, but, Edmonton, especially in Edmonton, kind of has had their number, so I do lean Edmonton in that game. That's what I have for you for a 3-game Monday. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. Make sure you do those things. If you're enjoying these videos, like them, comment on them, share them, click that share button, put it on your old Facebook. Maybe somebody would enjoy it. Somebody wonders, I wonder what that guy's up to. Oh, he's sharing NHL sniffing videos. That's what he's doing. So if you can do that, and obviously the best thing you could ever do is support my channel, support the show here. No sponsors, no Nestle Crunch, no Pop Secret extra butter popcorn. Don't even know if that's still around. If you're still around, hey, feel free, reach out. I want to say, is the email something at popsecret.com? Because that actually be Bob at popsecret.com. Andy, I actually watch your videos. We do want to sponsor. It's a sad state of affairs that we didn't know if Pop Secret, that you didn't know Pop Secret was still around. We damn sure are still around, and we damn sure want to advertise on your channel. Oh, no, but you said what about what people wear? Oh, no, we're liable about. Well, that's why I have the people on the Patreon, you guys. So if you want to support, join me over there at patreon.com/Andy Francess. There's also sniffing chat rooms. That's where I post the spreadsheets. That's where I post updates, extra stuff. I hope to see you there. If not, I'll see you tomorrow for another round of NHL Sniffs. Take it easy.